everyone. I hope you're all having a good day. I hope winter has been treating you good. It's starting to turn spring over here. That's partially exciting, but I live in the south, so spring lasts 2 weeks and then it's summer for 5 months. So I'm not really that excited for spring. But if you live in a state or in a country that has a real spring, I'm excited for you. But anyway, today we're going to be doing a sketchbook tour of my Februfairy sketchbook, or Faebruary, whichever one. It has both names. A little overview of this sketchbook. It is Strathmore watercolor travel journal. It has 140-pound paper. It says 20 pages, but that's if you do both sides. It really has 10 pages. I liked the paper. I didn't love the paper. It didn't buckle very easily. That was good. It did not buckle very easily. But the paper was weird. It kind of was too absorbent to the point where if you put like a thick amount of a color in one spot, it just kind of stays there and you can't move it. It felt almost like you're painting on cardstock, only it didn't buckle. And it wasn't bad. I finished the whole book, so like I survived, but I didn't love the paper. It was too absorbent. I think it's meant more for washes. This is a travel journal. People tend to do like pen and then they just do washes over it. I don't think it was intended for layers and layers like I do. But yeah. So this year I did no prompt list. It was one goal: fill the book. I have had a lot of issues for a lot of years since my first Februfairy, Faebruary, whatever you want to call it. My first one I did was in 2022, and I have not been able to finish one since. This is my third year trying to finish one, and I finally am able to finish one. And yeah, so I'm very excited that I finished it. I did the last one in March, but like, I wasn't finishing it at all, so we're gonna call that a win. This book is over here because some of the poses in here come from this book. So if I reference that it came from a book, it is this book. So now for the actual tour. So we're gonna open up, and here's the first one. This is a Lofi'd. I really like the color scheme in this one. I really embraced color schemes I liked in this one. Towards the end, I tried to be a little more diverse because I was doing a lot of pink and purple and like this tealish green. And nothing wrong with that, but I like when I flip through a sketchbook to see lots of different colors. So I tried within this to not only do pink, purple, and green, like this, like, not even minty green, like this, like, lime teal green. I love that combo. So you're gonna see these colors all through the sketchbook. But this is the first one. I'm actually quite happy with it. There's some shiny bits. I don't know if it's picking up the shiny. I think it is. My monitor is on another desk over there, so it's kind of hard to see, but I think it is. And then we have this one, which I think I put shiny bits in. It's hard to tell if it's shiny or just blown out, but this one was based off of dandelions. I wanted to do a lot more detail with it, but I didn't get to, but that's alright. I do like how the cloudy looks in the dress look. Also, I forgot to mention that the majority of what I use in this book is watercolor, but I also use some watercolor pencils, especially at the start of the sketchbook. I used water-based markers like Crayola and Rose Art, and I used some other color pencils, mostly Crayola and a little bit of these that I don't think are made anymore, these EK memory pencils. And what else did I use? I used pen, obviously. I used Copic multi-liners, I used Micron multi-liners, and I used the super thin-tipped Sharpies like these ones. So this one was dandelions, and then these two. This one I did because I wanted to draw more from behind, and I don't really have any pose ideas for drawing from behind, so I kind of just did what I could come up with, and I'm actually quite happy how this turned out. I love how I painted the hair. That took a lot of work to make the hair look like that. I don't even know if I could replicate it because there was so many like layers and things that I did. Not 100% in love with her face. Her face looks a little weird, but I do like this pose and some of the color. Like I like this and I like this. I don't even know what this is, but we're not gonna ask. I think there's shiny bits on the wings. Can you see? I don't know if you could tell it's shiny or if it's just blown out. We'll see in edit. And then over here, this one is one of the ones that followed a pose from the book I showed. And it was originally, I think, a stick figure showing how to make the pose look squishy, I guess. But they were carrying groceries. I replaced it, obviously, with a strawberry. I really like how this one came out. I think the pose came out pretty well. I love how I did the hair. The hair, I think, is my favorite. And then how the wings look, because I made stuff lighter and it looks transparent. I'm very pleased with the wings and the hair. Honestly, the whole thing came out pretty good. I'm not good at side profiles either, so this came out passable at least. I think it came out nice. And there is shiny bits on the strawberry. I don't know if you can tell, but like the yellow seed parts are metallic. Now this spread has another 2 fairies. This one isn't one of my favorites. I don't think it came out the best. I like the pose came out all right. It's just I'm not really a fan of the inking, and the coloring feels a little messy, but it's all right. I do like this leaf and I like the water. It's just not my favorite, but it's not bad. It's just not my favorite. This one is a redraw of a fairy I did in my first ever Februfairy or Faebruary. I'll try and remember to put the picture right here of the original. The original one was done on tan paper with marker, so it's gonna look different regardless because it's a different texture. But I do quite like how this came out. One of my favorite things out of all of this is I like how when I made the leafy wings, I used 2 different colors to ink, so it's not just a solid color. I don't know if that's obvious on camera. I think you can kind of tell. I like that a lot. It was kind of hard to color because of all the stuff overlapping. So I didn't shade as much as I would have liked because honestly it was very stressful to try. But I do like it. I like she has the little like acorn necklace and little pine cone earrings on her leafy ears. Yeah, I really like this design. I don't know if I'll ever do anything else with it besides just drawing it, but it is cool looking. Then we have this one, which is a picture of Reina, the Queen of Girasol, or Girasol. I don't draw these characters anymore, but if you've been subscribed for a lot of years, you might remember them. I'm watching the screen right now because the sun's going in and out, and it might be a little too bright in here now, I'm not sure. But she's more saturated in person. I don't know if it's showing up as saturated. Let me play with my settings. She was looking quite dull before. Colors still aren't accurate to life, but this is also a webcam. It's not a very good camera. So I redrew her. I figured it's fairies, and she has the fairy wings and the elf ears, and she has a pretty dress, and I want to do at least one full illustration and like the whole size of the book. So she got to have that one, which she needed obviously, because see how puffy this dress is? Like I didn't remember this dress being this detailed until I was sketching it out. I was like, oh, girl, you have way too much going on. But I really like how this turned out. She came out really nice. I can see that I've gotten better with lining faces, which is nice, because her faces used to look a little more melted than it does in this one. So that was it. It was a nice throwback, even if I don't draw these characters anymore. Okay, now it's way too bright in here. I'm going to have to fix that again. How does this one look? Oh, this one looks way more saturated now. Okay, yeah, she looks way better. So these ones They are based off of ramen. Obviously, you see the ramen cup. I contemplated having 2 different kinds of ramen, but honestly, drawing the shrimps was fun. And the sun just went away. I'm tired of chasing the sun. This is why I don't like traditional streams, by the way. I've had to change the lighting and the saturation in here multiple times. Anyway, so I was going to do multiples, but drawing the shrimps was actually fun. So we got 2 shrimp ramen ones. I feel like it's obvious, but I want to point out that her hair is ramen noodles. That's why they're such like a pale color. And I love the fried egg. This one I think is my favorite because I also got to put in the pepper flakes and the green onion. I honestly forgot to do that on this one. But I like how it looks. I like these 2. I think they're very cute. These 2. So this is another pose. Oh, I forgot to mention, this pose was from the book also. And this pose is from the book. So this pose in the book it looked kind of like they're holding like one of those big like clay pots, kind of like in the Middle East where they like fill up with water and at like a well or something, and they take it on over to their family. That's what it looked like, and it was a nice pose. I've drawn that pose before, and I was like, okay, I already have the strawberry one. Why not have another berry? So we went with blueberry because I wanted to have a vastly different color scheme. Because you've probably noticed even here there's pinks. More pinks. That has some orange. Yellow. Like there's pink, pink, pink. Well, that has green. But there's a lot of pink and there's a lot of purple. So I wanted to have a more cool tone because the purples I've been working with have been more warm toned, more like a magenta, closer to a pink. So I wanted to do like a cool toned one. So I went with blueberries. And I really love how this came out. I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but if you look at, especially here, I did layers of pinks and purples and blues. And it has this really cloudy, multicolor look, and I really like how that came out. For her hair, I used a lot of different shades of blue. And I actually outlined it a second time with just the pen I got from the dollar store a long time ago. It's not waterproof, so you got to use it at the end of the process. But do not underestimate dollar store supplies. Just most of them aren't waterproof. You have to use them at the end when stuff is dry. So that's why I have this nice dark blue that was thinner than the Sharpie. I really love the color scheme on this one. This might be one of my favorites, probably because it's so different to what I normally do. I don't normally do cool color palettes. So I really like how this turned out. This one went through a lot of changes. It originally was me trying to follow another pose from the book, but the pose looked weird once I gave her a skirt, and I wanted her to have a petal-like skirt. This is more like either a sunflower or a Black-Eyed Susan skirt. I'm not sure what this flower would be, honestly. I didn't think that far into it. I just like the shape of the petals. But this one's supposed to be more like a sunflower or Black-Eyed Susan or something like that. And I figured, well, why not do another moth? So she has more moth-like wings. And I really liked the drawing. And I was like, okay, this one feels like it needs hatching. It feels like it needs to look like an old illustration. Back when they did tons of hatching and stuff. And I haven't had as much confidence with my hatching, which is weird because I feel like I can confidently say out of all of my skills, inking might be my best one. So I don't know why I've been so lacking in confidence. But I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it. And I'm really happy I did. I love how this looks. Like if I put it up, I don't know if it's gonna be more blurry and harder to see, but like there's stipple shading here. There's some hatching here. This has a lot of hatching. This has some hatching. Hatching on her neck. The detail in the hair. And like her antennas. It's kind of hard to see. I think it gets blurrier the closer I get. But this is a bunch of strokes to make them fuzzy. I really like how this one turned out. And I really wanted to do a warm color palette. Because this is around the time I started wanting to do color palettes that are different than what I've been doing. So I wanted to go for a super warm color palette, and I love this color palette. It feels like an old storybook illustration, and I really like it. This one was actually drawn before all of these ones. Well, this one was already drawn. Before these and these, this one was done. This one was a tribute piece to my friend. She passed away in 2020. She was very sick. I had drawn this fairy before as a portrait in her honor a couple years ago when I did my first Februfairy. I'll put the picture here so you can see the original one. This fairy's name is Lindy Flora. It's a play on her real name. The skin tone and the hair, those were her favorite colors, and she had an OC with those colors, and I wanted to like remember her like that. And this is supposed to represent her snake and her cat. As far as I know, they're both still living, but she loved her pets, so I wanted her to have her pets with her. And just a little heart hands. I think one of my favorite touches is that the halo is also like some like woven rose bramble, I suppose, with flowers instead of just like a glowing halo to really put it home. This one was done with a bunch of stuff. The skin and hair and the flowers was marker. The dress was done with watercolor pencil, I believe. The patterns was done with marker. That's just, there's a lot going on in this piece. But I wanted to do it really nice for her. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. Now we're going to get into the last two. So this one, she's going to be part of Audrey's universe. I like to, as I do these art challenges once in a while, just come up with a concept or refine a concept I had of things that will be in Audrey's world. If you don't know Audrey, I'll try and pop her on the screen. Audrey is a character I made while I was homeless in 2019 for Inktober. I try to remember to draw her every single Inktober since. She is my Inktober OC, I guess you could call her. And her world will be something one day. I want it to be a game. The game I was gonna make, I don't think I will make anymore. But it will be something. I was thinking maybe a visual novel, but I would release stuff in chapters. So I would do one chapter, and if there's no interest, there's no reason in continuing, but I can just get it out of my system. But we will see what I do. But this character is going to be one of the creatures from that universe. I haven't decided if she is big or tiny. It would be funny if she's like super small but threatening, but we will see what I do. And she is based off of, I saw a video, I don't remember if it was an RC car or a robot. It was something. Science has gone too far. They are allowing fungus and mold to control it, and it was actually moving. Science needs to stop while it's ahead. We don't need a fungal revolution. The fungus and the robots should not be rising at the same time. We have no chance, but go for it, I suppose. Have fun, science. But this was inspired by that. So she is actually not alive at all. She's being reanimated by sentient fungus and mold. That's why I have these vines to be kind of like puppet strings. I really like how this came out. And also I love the contrast in style between this and my main game I'm working on right now. If I remember, I'll pop one of my favorite characters on the screen, and it's just the contrast is it's striking. But this is one of my favorites from the whole month. I really like this character, and I was feeling really hatching still, so I did a lot of hatching, and I really like how it looked. I feel like the hatching fits the vibe of these characters and the cloudy like watercolors and stuff. And here is the last one. This is the one I drew in March. It was what, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, which was the 3rd, I want to say. This is another redraw. I think I did 3 total redraws, right? This one wasn't a pop star when I did it the first time, but I thought a pop star vibe actually kind of fit the character design. The original prompt, all the way back with my first Februfairy, was decade, and I picked 80s. It's a little more 90s than 80s, but I really liked this one. I was going through old ones. I was like, I want to do one more redraw. And this one spoke to me the most out of all the ones I was gonna redraw. So we have her, and I really love her. I think she's cute. This was done in marker. Do not use marker and watercolor paper. It spreads a lot. This only looks as clean as it does because I had to ink over all the edges again because it had spread beyond the edges. But I actually really like how this one turned out, and it is the last one. So, yep. So that is the sketchbook tour. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you found it interesting. I'm really proud that I finished this. Like I said, I've been going through a lot, and I'm glad that I'm starting to get at least a little mentally well enough to finish things. The only thing that I have been able to consistently finish is Inktober, and that's just pure stubbornness at that point. And I'm just so happy that I finished all of these, and they're pretty different. I got to experiment with some poses. I didn't experiment much with facial expressions. Last year, with the few I did experiment more with facial expressions. But I'm very happy with how this turned out. And in case you're curious about the stickers, these all came from Amazon. These are all from Michaels, but I don't think their brand sells these anymore. It was Createology, but I can't find sticker books like these anymore, so I don't think they sell them. And these are from some Easter stickers that Walmart was selling like 5 years ago, so I don't know if these exist either anymore, but they're cute little bunnies. Oh yeah, did I mention that I got this at clearance from Walmart? I do not know how much this book costs normally, but I got it at clearance at Walmart like 4 or 5, what year are we in? Yeah, like 5, 6 years ago. Also, for some reason, stickers don't want to stick to this even though it's paper. So if you put stickers down and they start peeling up, put some stick glue behind them and they'll stay better. So anyway, I am done. I hope you all enjoyed. And I will see you all in the next video. Have a good rest of your day.